What is up, YouTube? Today we're back with another Legend account review, and we are speaking to one of the greatest chefs in our time in RTA. His name is Elecsat, and if you're unfamiliar with who he is the known, in my terms, the Fumyr god. He plays Fumyr every game, locked on 3, and he's a very good cook at creating some really interesting drafts, and kind of paved his way into Legend, playing his own style, not following the meta, and just a really smart player overall. And I have a ton of trouble fighting him. He's got a really unique account. I'm really excited to see how his account is built and all that. And so yeah, without further ado, we're gonna be having Elecsat come on, and we'll unmute and we'll say what's up. All right, Mr. Elecsat. First of all, I just want to say congratulations on your Legend finish. Again, I think this is not your first time. Is that correct?
Yeah, thank you. It's my fourth time, I think.
Your fourth time? Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so congratulations for the fourth time, I guess. One of the reasons why I wanted to interview you or do your account review is because for these past 4 seasons, you have been beating me a lot, and trying to find a way to beat you has been very fun. And reading your E7GG to see what beats you as well has been very fun. And you're one of those players who find their own playstyle, make your own unique playstyle and share that with your community. I think it's really wholesome, and so yeah, thank you for taking this account review with me and taking your time today to do this. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but thank you to you for the offer, because I always love talking about E7. So if you would offer me the opportunity, I'll take it.
Awesome. Okay. Before we start this whole account review and some questions I have for you, could you, in your best way, explain what the Masaratown playstyle is to someone watching that has no idea what that means?
Okay, so I guess the whole Masaratown playstyle began because I was showing my gameplay in my Discord guild, my guild Discord. Since it's a pretty easy gameplay to reproduce if you take for it, maybe 2-3 people, maybe 4, started to play the same. So when you see like 5 to 6 people on the ladder playing the same playstyle, and they are from the same guild, I guess just people encountering this style call it Masaratown. It's based on picking Fumyr on 3 and trying to activate it, and not always turn 1, but we're trying to proc it turn 1, but yeah, not always. And it's basically just picking Fumyr on 3 and trying to win from that.
Right. So I'll put a diagram on the screen now where you guys, you guys as the viewers can see, having the Fumyr on 3, some of the drafts that come from Elecsat E7GG. But that's very interesting, because basically it sounds like it all started kind of just you playing what you want to play, and then your guild seeing you playing this style and having fun, and then you just keep on getting more and more people in your community to start playing the same style as you, right? With Fumyr on 3, right?
Yeah, that's basically it. I was just trying my game in the RTA chat, and I was telling them, look, it's fun. You can proc Fumyr, and then they all sleep and can kill them, and they asking me how I was doing, and yeah, it ended like that.
Gotcha. I see. Okay, so I'm gonna just jump into a few introduction questions with you first. I have prepared it with your community as well to say it also in French. So I'll speak the English question, okay. I'll put it on screen, then I'll say the French. Forgive me if I pronounce anything wrong, but
yeah, good luck to you.
Thank you. Okay, so first question is, how long have you been playing Epic 7 for, and who introduced you? And the French counterpart is depuis combien de temps tu joues à E7 et qui t'a présenté les jeux?
Oh, that was pretty good.
Oh, thank you. We were practicing before
and
we got on Thank you.
And so it's funny you're asking that because I just got the 150 no 1,500 consecutive connection.
Wow.
It's this one? Yeah, I just got it today.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been around 4 years.
Wow, you haven't missed a day. Wow.
Yeah, I was waiting for this day for finally not logging for a day, so I'm kind of free on this part. And I started just before the Opsic banner.
Before the OPSIC banner. Okay. I'll have to do some research into when that is, but I'll pop it up right here. And
It was the ML banner just before Fairytale Tenebria event. So yeah, 4 years ago. And what introduced me to this game is basically a good friend of mine that one day he was streaming on Discord one of the game he was playing, and he was in RTA, and he was streaming the drive phase, and I was like, okay, so this is exactly like League of Legends, but without the gameplay on the toxic player, so it looked interesting. So I'll try to I want to try the draft phase mainly, and I ended up here.
I see. So one of your good friends introduced you to the game. You're watching him play.
Yeah, thanks to him, I guess, or because of him.
I see. Okay, second question is, how did you come up with your name Elecsat? Comment tu as trouvé ton nom, Elecsat?
Oh, honestly, I don't really remember. It's been so long. I've been using it on like everything for I don't know 15 years.
Wow.
I think I needed a pseudo at some point, and I just chose it, so I don't have any reason, I think.
Fair enough. Okay, I think we know the answer to this third question, but who is your favorite character in Epic 7? Quel est ton personnage préféré sur E7?
Oh, it's Pavel actually. Commander Pavel.
Oh, okay, I had the wrong translation.
Commander? It's not. Yeah, C Pavel.
Oh, C Pavel.
Oh, my bad.
Oh,
but
no,
it's the other light ranger.
Gotcha. Commander Pavel. I see. Okay, yeah, because there was one season you were playing like all crit everything, right? Like every single character you had crit and activating your Caval. I remember that. That was not fun to play against.
I mean, actually, I played this style for like a whole year until Elvira came out. At this point, I wanted to stop playing because I was playing only for picking C Pavel every game, and then I stumbled upon Fumyr, and while trying as a just picking Fumyr every game, and I just thought I was playing for fun, and I just wanted to try the character, and surprisingly it worked pretty well, and it was pretty fun sleeping every team every game, so
I see.
I try to play a bit more.
Makes sense. My fourth question, what are your thoughts of this past season compared to previous seasons where you also finished Legend? Qu'est-ce que tu penses de cette saison passée comparée aux précédentes?
To the so this season was pretty easy until ML Lua came out, I think. It's mainly because Abyssal Yufin and Candy weren't really a thing in this season, so I could pre-ban more units. Because before this season, I had to ban them both or one of the two. So, but yeah, having Nahkwol open every game made everything a lot easier. And also, I know Elifton pointed this out, but I also think that the quality of player base decreased this season compared to other season.
Yeah, I think
I don't
that's
know
a
if
lot of people saying that too.
yeah, I don't know if it's you know, people's skill decreased or just people quit the game, but something like that.
I see. My final question before we start with your account review is, how do you feel about the balance patch? And I know Eligos is awesome for your playstyle, so I'm curious to see what you think. And I guess the French counterpart, pensez-vous du patch d'équilibrage? Eligos est génial pour votre style de jeu.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And so I don't think there's a lot of a lot of interesting thing in this patch. I don't know. Yeah, Eligos says might be pretty good just because he's a Red Ranger unit, so he might fit. I'm already playing him, but in very specific scenario. The thing is, he only has a 50% chance to hit flan, so and that's the main reason why I will think I could use it. So I don't think I will be able to use it correctly. Yeah, but apart from the patch, apart from Eligos, I don't think there is a lot of interesting units. It was a pretty dead patch, if I remember correctly.
So like the Emil Hwayong and stuff that doesn't really affect you or Ameru, right? Given your style.
Oh, it's not the balance patch, but yeah. So so Emil Hwayong is pretty awful for the way I play. Mercedes, I think I don't really care because I'm supposed to play before her, but yeah, she looks pretty OP.
I see. And how about Sigurd Scythe for your playstyle? Any changes too?
I guess I can put it on Edward now.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I think Hwayong should change a lot of the picking Fumyr on 3 or it might kill it totally. So I don't know.
Hopefully not. Oh, also,
yeah.
Just curious. How much, if you don't mind answering, you don't have to. How much have you spent on Epic 7? Combien d'argent t'as mis dans E7?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind, but I spent like 700, like maybe 450 on Mystic Summon. So actually not that much because most of it went to unit so to some unit, even unit I don't use.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty low spending, right? Like $700 for basically like almost 5 or maybe 5 years or something.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty decent, but
yeah,
I mean for on 4 years it's pretty low, I guess.
Yeah, quite low. Okay, so the floor is yours. Feel free to start showing your units, or if you want to start saying or anything you want to say to your community members or the viewers before you start, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So as Diction said, I'm playing Masaratown Clay I've been playing for the last year. Yeah, since Elvira came out. And before that, I was, playing Pavel on 3, like I said, but without the Protect ban. So I was picking Pavel every game on 3. And I started playing that when Zio came out, so I played a full year of Pavel on 3. Yeah, before that I, was playing Ran Poly, Tidom. So yeah, the basic cleave at the time, and I could play that because I was considered fast at this time, and you didn't have 20 unit at more than 120 base speed. But yeah, so with the time, with every season I became less and less able to contest speed, so I had to find ways to being able to play like I wanted, even with my opponent contesting me and having more speed. So yeah, I ended with playing Fumyr on 3 and Guiding Knight units with immunity and protection. So it's all because I wanted to, you know, not play turn 2, but still play aggro the way I wanted, and not die because I'm just getting outspeed, you know.
Mm-hmm. Splendid. Okay. Sorry,
So
continue.
yeah, I can show my units if you want, or if you have.
Go ahead. It's all good. All you know.
Okay, so I I favorite this unit because I pick them every game. So I just save time and pick the 4 units every game, and sometimes unit on 4-5 might change, or depending on matchups, I might pick something else. But like 70% of the time, I'm picking the same 4 units. So Celine is like the best DPS Guiding Light in the game. So she has my best gear, and she's supposed to, I had to put her on triple set because I wanted immunity and I wanted the more damage possible. So she's like that on torrent set and pen set. Yeah, no skin because I don't have the it's Skystone. So if I can save Skystones to pull other unit, I try to say that. And yeah, and she has Alexa Basket because at first I was playing her with her artifact and the stun Hihi, but then I realized that most of the time she doesn't proc S2 because I'm picking her in either on 1 or 2 or maybe on 4, but most of the time when I pick her, my enemy doesn't pick non-attack skill, so she doesn't proc S2. I still need to kill unit like Dilibet and maybe Sharon. So I put her on the damage EE on S3 and Alexa Basket, so she can just burn and one shot one unit.
Makes a lot of sense.
And I don't think this playstyle would have been able to be played the last 2 seasons if Celine didn't get buffed.
That's interesting. Okay. And do you think it's because of like the EE and the stealth and everything, like for the 2 turns? Is that why?
It's mostly the stealth unit. Because there isn't a lot of stealth units that are RGB, so red or green, that have stealth. Like before, sometimes I used to pick green Iseria with Guiding Light to proc Fumyr, and it was pretty bad. So yeah, Celine helped a lot.
Yeah, because you're also you're not weak to something like, say, like Zeo or Conquer Lilias, right? Where they can strip that 1-turn stealth kind of thing. And Conquer Lilias obviously gets punished by Celine too, right? So it makes total sense as to why the buff helped a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And Conquer Lilias is actually somewhat a problem, but picking Celine early makes my opponent not want to pick Conquer Lilias. It's kind of good, yeah. So I have the best unit in the comp, I think. So Schuri is like the core of the draft, and most of the time, a lot of draft, Schuri is just the unit my opponent needs to ban, but they don't because it's just a 4-star speed imprint. But he's really fast because I need him to push up my team before Laia plays. So he's mainly at 283 because he needs to play before Laia. And you'll see later, but all my units, practically all my units are in immunity because my Fumyr is on pot set, and so I need to, if I stack, immunity plus pot set, I'm immune to a lot of debuff. And if I have also Guiding Light, all my Guiding Light are on immunity. So I'm totally buff stacking, and I can't, I can't be debuffed by a lot of units.
Makes sense.
And so this is the best red Red Ranger because you know, I need a read and a grid unit to poke Fumyr. You know, at the time I was the standard Fumyr cleave was playing Lidica plus you know, Veronica. But I quickly realized that if I just change Veronica to Schuri, it was a lot better for me because firstly I'm slow as fuck, so having you know, four more speed is a lot better. And Schuri is just a great unit in the comp because you know, he see a push by 25% every time he plays, and like it makes my other units being, you know, it's like they have a speed buff, so it's pretty good. And there's a lot of synergy with Schuri. Like playing Laya with Schuri is extremely satisfying because you know, you duel with Laya, you SN with Laya, you duel with Schuri, and your whole team go, you know, plus 25% CR. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it makes total sense, right? Like the 4 more speed compared to Veronica, and then the AoE push rather than just one person for Veronica. I can definitely see why you say this is the glue of your draft for sure.
Yeah, so next we have you know, Nahkwol. So this is like the best unit in the game, I think. And yeah, she has my best speed immunity gear with 100 crits because sometimes I need to pick Pavel on 4 or 5. So having crit helps to, yes, allow me to pick Pavel in this situation. And I used to never be able to pick this unit because, you know, it was either free ban or pick in the opponent team. And so I decided at the start of the season I was, you know, picking her on 4-5, but I think I won a bit too much against Retaiver, and he tried to find ways to counter the, you know, the Masaratown cleave, and the answer he found is that he needed to, you know, pick Nahkwol before I picked her. So the second half of the season I was first picking Nahkwol every game because I can't deal with Nahkwol if she's faster than me, and I don't want to waste Nahkwol. So I ended by first picking her, and it worked pretty well.
So that's a really good adjustment that you made, right? Because you recognize that if people take it from you, then it's way harder for you to play. So you rather just take it early and then try to respond and beat them on their other picks, how they respond to you with Nahkwol, right?
Yeah, sure. And like people started not probanning Nahkwol because there is more content on Nahkwol, but they really don't matter to me when I just want to poke Fumyr. So it doesn't really matter if I first pick Nahkwol and they try to counter Nahkwol. And even a lot of people are like picking 3 counter to Nahkwol and are still post banning Nahkwol. So yeah, I can just pick it first picker.
Makes sense. Because for example, if they pick like Bunny Dom, Lie, or something like that, you don't care, right? You don't care if they have the immunity and skill mode because Fumyr would just strip everything off, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't care because of Fumyr, but also because Schuri is just playing before them, and I can S2 with Nahkwol, and Schuri S1, my ult in play, and Fumyr procs. So yeah, it's also because Schuri is in the game, because there isn't a lot of bridge to Nahkwol. So if people are picking things to, you know, be immune to Nahkwol S3, I need to be able to have a Nahkwol that still do something on being able to, you know, breach the rest of the team. So Schuri does that.
Makes sense. I see.
And so then yeah, we have the second core unit, but I always pick her on 3, and she has a different gear from, you know, last season, because I used to play them like this actually. So this is my old gear that I put on you know, a Fumyr I got from the Epic Dash, and yeah, she used to be like a 260 effectiveness because there was a lot of cleanser with effect resistance in the meta. But this season I realized I could have just 100 F, just be okay with versus most of the units. So and yeah, and having two units, two Fumyr allowed me to, you know, switch in draft when I see they're going Belen on 3 and here, I can just pick the Fumyr with F, and most of the time I pick the Fumyr with HP. Because actually with this HP, I'm immune to most of ML Arena. So the S3, they strip, they do practically no damage because I'm protect immunity Guiding Light, and they strip the barrier. So I don't get pushback and don't get reset. So having you know, almost 25 HP is pretty safe, you know, because and also I'm picking 4 Gainax units almost every game, so having, you know, the only unit visible having the more HP possible makes my win rate go up.
I'll put a diagram on screen right now for viewers to see. What Elecsat is describing is basically the protection set is like buff stacking for his Celine, for his Monk, for his Schuri, where they have the barrier, they have the stealth, and they have the immunity. And before you probably made these changes, you know, back then if people went like Zio and Requiem Rwana, if you don't have that prot set, right, they can just, you know, go ahead, break the stealth and then reset you or push you back or disrupt you. But having that protection set at such a high HP with the Fumyr, it protects him against Requiem Rwana because the barrier is so thick and the damage is halved when you're stealth. It makes total sense, and this is the bread and butter. This is what the whole Masaratown is about, right? So
yeah, exactly. So I think, yeah, the best artifact is always book because you know, picking a book on 3 is extremely OP. Like my opponent can either pick Vivian or I have a book for, you know, Sulban Nahkwol, Sulban Schuri, Sulban Celine. Every Sulban are extremely OP, so yeah, having book is extremely good. So I see, why do I have the plus 15 Fumyr with my F gear? It's because my plus 8 Fumyr is SSS, you know. So I need the plus 12% attack every game to kill with the Celine.
Makes sense. Yeah, sometimes that's the difference on whether Dragon King Sharoon dies, right, from a Celine Soulburn, right?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you have that 12% or not, right? So yeah, it makes sense.
It makes a lot difference actually, because last season, no, not this one, but the previous one, I wasn't SSS. I was still being print, and I used the Epic Dash to correct that. And a lot of time I was, you know, miskinning from 100 HP. I was like, okay, so if I was SSS, it was free win.
Right.
So yeah, it matters a lot actually. Okay, so next unit, I don't think it's the most relevant, but yeah, it was the Gala DPS I was picking the most after Celine. So she's just here to, you know, one shot the opponent team, and I was picking whenever I needed again like DPS.
Yeah, that's really high attack. Your 4.7k 300 that's a lot of damage for Iseria.
Yeah, she's just there to you know, one shot the whole team. Because sometimes, you know, the basic draft against you know, like people picking Zio, I'm Zio trapping, so I'm picking Jipug on 3. And the basic draft is picking 2 DPS, 2 opener, and General Pug is on 3. So if I'm having Celine plus Nahkwol, another opener like, I don't know, Lua or ML Politis, I need a second DPS. And there isn't a lot of DPS with Gale Knight that I want to pick in this slot. And I found that Briar is most of the time the best unit.
So mainly you pick this to kind of Zeo trap people, right? If they overcommit too early, then you can kind of pick this as a core DPS to finish them off, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Makes sense.
Okay. So Eligos, I pick him exactly in one spot. It's when people are overcommitting on the Cleave. And I can pick Adin on 3. So my win con is dodge with Adin on one shot ML Ludwig with S2. And in this spot it's pretty good because if you one shot with Adin, you don't have a bridge because usually I have a G plug on 3. But since Eligos can hold sashes, he's cutting after Adin S2.
I see.
But yeah, this is the only spot where I was able to play Eligos.
Yeah, and for those people who are watching on YouTube now, you might see, Sashay and not Guiding Light. His EE does have stealth built in, so in case anyone is wondering.
Yeah, and also he has attack percent in pre-release, so it's even more attack for Adin to be sure to kill with us too.
Makes sense.
Okay, so Sez, I built Sez because of some people that I won't name. People started to pick Fumyr on 2 against me before I could pick it on 3, and I had to find a reliable draft against those people. And so the draft I was doing most of the time is pick Frida on 3 and a DPS on 4. And at first I was picking BBK, but I found that there's too many counters to BBK in this meta, so I started picking Sez on 4 and it works pretty good with Frida. So yeah, he's still gear. At the end of the season, bizarrely, people started to picking Fumyr on 2 a lot less. Maybe because my win rate is a lot higher when Fumyr is in the opponent team, but I don't know. Or they didn't want to try anything, but yeah, he's still gear in case of.
I see. So you mainly pick this if they steal the Fumyr from you and just kind of run them down with the Sez on 4.
Yeah, that's the idea. Because they're playing 3-4, so I'm supposed to have the advantage here.
I see. Were there any notable people you want to name out that were stealing Fumyr, or would you rather just move on?
No, I won't do that, but a lot of people on the ladder were doing that. And a lot of people that I also didn't recognize because they had a name I didn't see before, or I never saw them in my life, and there was picking Fumyr.
I mean, that's a great compliment, right? They try to take the tool away from you, right? So because they know if they give it to you, their win rate is probably going to go lower. So that's a really good compliment, I would say.
I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, I guess it's a compliment, but also I'm launching RTI games because I mainly want to play Fumyr, and I admit I'm getting a bit tilted by people picking that. So that's why I put a lot of effort in trying to find a draft that win against that, because if I have a good win rate against Fumyr on 2, they'll stop doing that.
Of course, for sure.
So then Josh Kise, and I didn't pick her this season a single time because I'm sorry, but I'm gonna hunt a bit because Smalgate destroyed her in the balance patch where they supposedly buffed her. But yeah, she's still gear because I love playing this unit, but I can't because they killed her kid, so she's just here for fun. I don't know.
So for those that don't know, what about the change made her unplayable for you?
So Josuke was like the best unit to pick against people going Candy or Yufin. So if they went Candy or Yufin early, I was picking just Kise on 4-5, and because I have a guaranteed book on 4, I was just, pushing Judge Kise, burning S2, S3. At the time I had Tachi, so I had attack buff, and I was just straight up cleaving them with Judge Kise. So if they were banning one element of the Fumyr cleave, they were just dying to Judge Kise. But since it's not an extra turn anymore on S2, she's getting cut by everything in the game, and she's just really bad actually.
I see.
Currently. But yeah, I'm still salty from this chain from Celine.
Yeah, she just geared just because you like her, but not usable this season for you.
Yeah, and her gear is extremely good, but I can't put her on. I can't put it on anything else. So yeah, that's part of when I'm still salty about it. So Milim, she's just gear in case of sometimes people are picking Celine before I pick Celine, and she's a green unit, so no reason to not have her gear. She's immunity because I have protect set, so immunity is OP. Celine, I don't play her, and Specter Tenebria, I barely picked her, but since she's gain like DPS on the book, she needs to be gear for some situation. So she's still gear. I wasn't playing Iseria. So Yufin, actually the last 2 days of RTA this season, I was dying a lot to people that were playing like Zio was pre-ban, but that weren't pre-ban Zio. And it told me a bit, so I started, picking Zio on 3 with Fumyr on 2. And I needed a bridge on 4-5. On Yufin, it's just perfect because since I'm, first picking Nahkwol, I need a green unit in 4-5. And so I was picking Ludwig on 4, on Yufin on 5. So if the ban Yufin, I have 0 Ludwig plus 3 books because I have Fumyr on 2. And if they ban Ludwig, I have the Fumyr combo with Nahkwol red and Yufin green unit. And it worked pretty well because, I don't know why people are playing like Zio is pre-ban when they aren't pre-banning Zio, but it's pretty thinking.
Makes sense. So it's an adjustment you made, right, to kind of kill them either with your usual Monk, Fumyr, and everything with the elements, or you kill them with Zio, Ludwig, and Fumyr book, right? It makes total sense.
Yeah, exactly. And if I didn't pick Zio on 3, I just get one over, so I had to change. Yeah, so Jacko, same reason, she's just gear because I sometimes need a bridge to Zio. So RB is just gear for, sometimes you need to pick RB on 3, on 5, and you just get post-ban. BBK, she's a full DPS with immunity. And yeah, she's a pretty good DPS into ML Politis because, since I have Protect on 3, she's buff stacking with, her immortality on immunity, and she doesn't get pushback.
So I know a lot of people in the community were saying BBK was their #1 unit of this season, and they love BBK, and there was so many different builds, right? Like ER on Alexas or counter degen builds and stuff like that. So what was your kind of your thoughts on playing against BBK so much this season? Because I'm sure you saw her a lot in your matches, right?
Well, I'm first picking Monk, so most of the time BBK isn't a problem. I know I struggled a bit against someone in ladder that pick ER BBK on 2 with Belian on 3, and since my Fumyr doesn't have F anymore, I had to identify that I'm getting ER cheese and pick the right Fumyr. But apart from that, I mainly don't have a problem against this unit.
I see.
And I actually have a second one build, but I barely picked her because the spot where she will be good, I think I found other picks that are better.
That's a really good ERVVK. That's a really nice one.
That's why I built it second, but yeah, most of the time I wasn't picking her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, Pavel. I'm extremely happy I found a way to play him this season because yeah, I hadn't the opportunity to play him in the world last year, and so I gave him back the best destruction gear I had, and he worked pretty well in the spot I was picking him. And he's guiding like because most of the time I don't want him to be focused before he has the opportunity to S3. And sometimes the way I pick make it so Pavel is my main DPS on my win condition.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to have guiding light because if he dies, I lose the game.
Just curious, can we see the 6 pieces of gear on your commander, Pavel?
Yeah, sure. He does have a lot of improvement, but I said multiple times that if we have another perfect gear event, I'll craft two more pieces for Cavalier.
Oh, I see. And Robo actually asked, no immunity on your C Pavel. Have you ever had immunity on your Pavel, or is Torrent kind of has always been your go-to?
When I used to pick Cavel every game, since he was my main DPS, I had to have damage, or I was losing every game. And in the previous season, most of the time when I want immunity, it's when I'm getting aggro, or when there is ML Politis in the opponent side. Cavel doesn't work against Politis.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to pick Cavel when I'm getting aggro on.
That makes
sense. So
yeah,
I just want damage.
Right. It's more of a damage issue. You're not really picking him in cases where you need immunity, like some of the other units that we've seen on your account. So that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So SSB, I think she's just gear because I can. I used to pick her a lot on 4-5 when I was zero swapping like 2 seasons ago. But yeah, this season it's a lot better to just pick Briar plus another opener. Mainly because ML Poly is open a lot more often than before.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go Briar plus ML Poly on 4-5.
I see.
So Adin, she's built to one shot with S2. So I pick her mainly against people that overcommit on the Ludwig. And sometimes in some draft, like against against Yufin. Yufin plays before S1, I get attack buff, I S3 and I just one shot her.
Yeah,
but I played a lot less than previous season.
Yeah, that's really high damage. I mean, I'm very surprised to see that this is not on destruction set, because knowing the way that you use your Adin and having just like nuke damage, right? I think Destro fits that perfectly. But is there any specific reason it's speed, or that's just like how the higher damage that you can build with the speed compared to your leftover destruction gear?
That's just a gear issue, I think. I don't have enough destruction gear to gear Adin in top of everything.
Understood.
So Fairytale Tenebria, I don't pick her anymore since like a whole year. On the few time I picked her this season, she did not win. So I don't like this unit. So Politis, she's just gear because she need to be gear. Sometimes you need to pick Politis on 4-5. So. And this is the Politis I pick a lot less. The Politis I pick the most of the time is this one, which is a Bruiser Poly. And so she doesn't die to everything.
Interesting. I'll probably ask you more questions about that when we get there to that one.
Sure. So Okay, so actually my Cidd build changed a lot this season because I used to have a full DPS Cidd at 200 speed with Alexa, so he could have the same spot as Celine, where I can just burn with Gab if everything goes well and one shot 1 or 2 units. But with the ML Lua release, I found myself having to, race ML Lua in some situation, and so I need him to be slightly faster to be able to, cut the opponent team.
Makes sense.
And so he used to be immunity because a lot of people used to pick Sage Bell into me when I went Cidd, but they don't do that anymore. So he's just pen set now.
I see.
And so Ludwig, so currently as my the build I was running the wall last year, I changed this build like the last 2 days because I needed him to be able to bridge after Zio, so he was like 270 with immunity. But yeah, most of the time he has this build because he's supposed to play against after Fumyr and just one shot the whole team of my opponent. And I use him in GVG and Arena because it's pretty good into our city.
Wow.
But yeah, I think this build is outdated for RTA.
Yeah, that's a really high damage Ludwig.
I used to be able to, just one-shot the opponent team with him in RTA, but yeah, I don't have a spot for him anymore. Mainly because I pick Monk on one.
Right.
Okay, so this is just a cheese Jenua against one players. He doesn't work really well, and I didn't pick him a lot. So this is the ear Karin I wasn't picking. So this is one of the good green Gale Knights. So she's geared, and I was picking her sometimes on 4-5 when I needed a Gale Knight that could see push my team, and that was green. And like every other Gale Knight, she has immunity, and yeah, and she's pretty fast because she's supposed to push up the rest of the team. I did not play Sylvian. Yeah, so Senya is a niche pick in some situation where I can't, sleep the opponent team and I need something to control them. And provoke works pretty well. And she's a green unit, so she proc Fumyr. So I had some spot where I could pick her.
Is this like a 4 or 5 unit for you for the green Senya?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. And so Elvira, I regeared her like 2 weeks before the end of the season. Because I had some sort. I started to, when ML Lua got released, I had no issue for the first week until they buffed her and everyone pulled her and she was everywhere. So I started trying other drafts, and one of the drafts I found is pick Nahkwol on 1, ML Lua on 2, Fumyr on 3. And when my opponent only cleanser was Dilibet, I could pick Elvira on 4-5 on 4-5 and just run him over. So yeah, she has 200 health to provoke everyone on the opponent team, and she's tuned to play before Celine, so she can death break into Celine one shot something.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was going to ask you why you have so much effectiveness, because a lot of people would just kind of go for like the high, close to 300 ER build, but that makes sense, right? You have to land those death breaks and the provokes if the matches drag out, right? That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't like playing this team because the matches are so long and you might lose if you're really unlucky. But yeah, you need to be able to stop the opponent to take a turn. So yeah, she needs to provoke everything.
Right, makes sense. And you use her exactly the way that, like you mentioned, when you pick it into Dilibet, right, to trap the only cleanser. So very similar to what Lifton said as well in his review, that it's a really, really niche pick, right? So that makes total sense.
Yes. Yes, because most of the time people are picking Laia to cleanse, so she doesn't do anything against Laia. But some people were still just picking Dilibet on praying to, you know, auto-king me, so Elvira was a good pick.
I see.
I wasn't picking Raz, and Astromancer Elena, like every Gala Knight, she's on immunity gain knights, and I picked her sometimes against Amiki on Zero Trap, and it worked pretty well.
Oh, I see.
So Gala, she's one of the best units of Fumyr Cleave, I think. She pretty much died with Ilinav, so I think I lost win rate because of that. But yeah, she has immunity because I have Protect Set on 3, and because she has a buff from her S2, she doesn't get pushed back from you know, ML Politis. And so she's also a DPS opener that attack buff, and she's green, so she proc Fumyr. So she's one of the best pick on 4-5, but she get nullified by Emily Nav, so she lost a lot of play rate.
For sure. Yeah, we saw that across the board for a lot of people too. Like, she's a much lower priority if Ilanav is ever available, because then you just are forced to ban her, right? There's just no way.
Yes. Yeah, and she has portrait because I'm scuffed, and if I don't have portrait, I don't proc the 50%.
Makes sense. Yeah, because your attack is a little bit lower compared to some other galas, but that's why you'd have to go something with Portrait instead of Windrider, so that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, so Morte is the only reason I can ban RCT on ML Luna. Else I would have to ban Candy on Yufin, I think. And he's green, so it's like a perfect unit with Fumyr. And most of the time I'm just picking on 5 and he gets banned. So sometimes people are banning Celine on his solo DPS, so you need to have pretty high damage. And yeah, I didn't play him enough to change his gear, so it worked pretty well like that.
So you're definitely one of the few people who, actually I wouldn't say one of the few, one of the many people who really appreciated Mort getting buffed, because you probably saw that and you thought it was like Christmas time, right? Because you don't have
really. I was, to be honest, I wasn't planning to play this season when I saw RCT, and when I saw the balance patch with Mort being released in this state, I realized I could, you know, let Candy open and just prevent RCT. Yeah, so Laika is my fastest gear. I'm barely speed contesting anymore. So the only spot I pick her is against people that pick ML Lua without imprint.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and she has Fenris RT because, yeah, at first I had it on Pavel, but I totally stopped OSing people because of Fireflan. Actually, it's a lot less reliable compared to before. So yeah, I had the plus 30 Fenris artifacts that I botled from 0, and he ended up on her for this specific spot when I need to race Melua.
And I mean, I think you also agree that a lot of people that you were fighting against, it seems like everyone's just 320 now, right? So there's no point racing, right?
I mean, maybe that's 320, but I have a 14 speed imprint on 2. I'm picking a second imprint, so they're supposed to respect my speed just a bit, and sometimes they just don't respect the fact that I have an imprint. So I need to have a speed contest to make them understand that if they don't speed imprint themselves, they're supposed to get outsped.
I see. So it's quite a specific use case, almost niche, but you had to have it ready in case they played without the imprint. That makes sense.
Yeah, but before they understood that, it actually happened quite a bit. So she had to be here.
I see.
And unlike Pavel, you have multiple options on first turn. So actually, I didn't say it, but I pick her with Schuri and Cidd, and they are both stun, so that the S1 from Laika push up my Fire Schuri. So Fire Schuri is supposed to cut into burn S3 S1. So I reveal the ML Lua. Then Cidd plays and can one shot ML Lua plus another unit.
Oh, I see.
So I can S2 or I can S1 or I can S3 because yeah, the S2 from ML Laika procs on Schuri, so it push up my team by 25% also.
Right, but that S1 EE for you also helps a lot because you're not forced to do S2 or S3. Say if they have like a Tywin or an AOL or an Elena or something, like you said with
exactly.
Pavel, right? And then S2 obviously they can punish you with non-attack units that punish you, right? So the S1 that makes sense. Where you're kind of bulletproofing every single option for like that makes sense.
Yeah, because you know with Pavel you have to S2 or he does nothing. So yeah, Laika offered a lot more option.
I see.
So Zio, I upgraded his gear across the season because I was picking more and more, and yeah, I think he's pretty good like that. There are some people that were picking Amidon 3 with no Zio pre-ban, so I need him to have a lot of F because else I just lost this matchup.
Right, because a lot of the Amids did start getting a lot of ER even around that 300 speed, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And also I need to be 270 because you know people are still racing Zio with Ran and Imprint. So
of course.
Okay, so we already see politics.
So to the fire politics actually,
yeah.
What was the reason? Because we saw that you had a full damage one earlier. This one is a bit more of a bulky hybrid version. So what are the differences in terms of when you would pick the damage versus, or maybe when would you pick this bruiser one?
Okay, so I have to politics because some season ago I needed to sometimes pick a DPS politics and sometimes a bruiser one. So they're both built because sometimes I need damage in my draft, and so I pick the DPS one. And sometimes I think it's I don't need to have damage because my opponent doesn't have a Art Cleanser or he has bruiser units like LRK or Tywin, and so the fight is going to be a lot longer. And then I need to have a more tanky units to tank for my Gala Knights unit.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not so much like a damage problem when you pick this. It's mainly you need to survive after the first rotation, so you have that bulk there for that reason.
Yeah, and yeah, it's funny because I used to pick her in people going Ran plus Jenua, and she doesn't proc Jenua on S2. So they were going S2 on Ran, and Jenua didn't cut.
I see.
And so Lidica, there's still some spot where she's pickable, so she still has gear. Mainly in the draft where I pick Nahkwol and ML Lua on 1-2, because people are going Laia, and then I go Celine, FLD on 4-5, and I can reset the Laia with Lidica S3.
Yep.
But yeah, I already decided that I really don't like the draft book because there is a lot of you can lose if you're really unlucky and the fight are extremely long. 2 days before the end of the season, I played this draft like for a whole day. My win were like the game I was winning were 10-minute longs, and just after I was losing to a 30-second cleave match because I was just getting cleaved. So I really don't like playing this team, but when it works pretty well. I think space is win more units. When you can pick space, when you can pick space, the game is already won. So is geared just because, but yeah, I didn't pick him a lot because most of the time there is better option.
Right.
So DDR is a extremely good unit in 4-5 when they go when my opponent go no cleanser. So it's even more control on the opponent team. He has a mix of effectiveness and ER because I need F to control the opponent team. I'm not picking him against a high ER team, and if you have 100 effect resistance, it's because I need to not get stunned by Flan on S1. And
Okay.
I don't want to put in on immunity because I have this piece of gear that I probably can't replace. So he's on F set, and I found it more easier to have 100 F than having immunity.
I see.
But it's still pretty good against like ML Ace because you S2, you get F buff, and Ace Ace can't strip you.
Yeah.
And he has Water Origin because the main spot I'm picking him is I'm also picking into Ran because he's supposed to cut up after Ran S3, and I can just S3, S2, S3, S2, S2, and push up my team.
I see.
And I actually have a second DDR that is here, and that I pick into Emil Lua or Emil Poly.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Nice.
But I'm picking a lot less than this DDR.
Of course, yeah. On the 4-5, I mean, if you're able to pick the DDR on the 4-5, especially in your draft, I mean, the game is pretty much won, right? If they have no cleanse.
Yeah. If I can pick DDR, it's just to seal the coffin and the opponent draft.
100%.
So Laia, she has this gear for like I don't know 3 seasons. I don't know what to say. She's pretty fast because I need to outspeed the opponent team most of the time. I'm playing a lot faster. She has an extremely good synergy with Schuri and with Celine also. Most of the time I can't play her because she's on the other side. But yeah, when she's on my side, it's extremely good.
And also, just to for people that might not know, could you maybe also share why she's so good with your core units like Celine and Schuri?
She's extremely good with Schuri because she already push up from by 15% when she S1. But if she drag Schuri with S1, she push up by 40%, and she push the whole team by 25%. So it makes her she gets to her S3 extremely fast. And so I win a lot of games because she just lap around the board and wins the game. Like the last game I did this season was against KHM with Laia, and she won me the game because she, dragged Schuri and Celine on the good situation.
That makes sense. I mean, especially like if you're at 100% CR bar and someone says like 60%, when you S1 and you pull the Schuri, you're most likely taking the turn before them because you have way higher natural speed, right? So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and some games I S2 Laia turn 1, and then Schuri I S3 burn with Schuri. So like I push up from 25% by Laia S2, 50% with Schuri S3 plus S1. And so my Laia is already playing and my opponent is asleep. So it's extremely fast.
Makes sense.
And I saw Obezo from my guild speaking in the chat, and if I had the second Laia, I would build a Durandal Laia to play into Fireflan. But I only have one. So Flan, yeah, like every ranger, she's on immunity Galley Knight, and I pick her in the trap when I have the opportunity. But yeah, most of the time she's on the other team.
Wow, even on this character, you're also guiding light. It seems like you just have 100 guiding lights, man.
I mean, I mean, since you're mentioning it, yeah, I used to have a lot more, but a lot more. To have 2 more, but yeah, I have a bit of Galenite.
Wow.
So I currently don't have. I have a Galenite on unit I'm not picking, so yeah, I don't need more.
That's a lot of guiding lights.
And yeah, so I'm not picking Wukong. She is just for Rift, and I'm sometimes picking Elena on 4-5. So yeah, I didn't discuss this, but yeah, my worst matchup is against people that are providing Zio because I can't play Fumyr.
Hmm.
So I had to find a way to play against those people. Picking Elena on 4-5 is one of the answers I could make. So Lide Yufin is pretty good against like what's her name? Green Lidica. And I think that's the only matchup where she's pickable. But yeah, so she needs to be good for this matchup.
Can we see the helmet?
Yeah. So this is a Patarol speed actually.
I see. I was wondering like what could this 67 helm be, but okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so Elena Lua. So I had to gear her to pick her, but yeah, I didn't really want to, but she's geared. She's geared slow. I tried to gear her slower than my opponent Laia. Because yeah, I'm picking her on the draft where I go like Nahkwol on 1, ML Lua on 2, Fumyr on 3. And the way to win with this draft is to proc Sweet Miracles on Laia turn 1 with Nahkwol. And then Lua plays, provoke lock the entire team, and Fumyr procs S2 on the second turn. And from here I pretty much win the game. Yeah, I just need to not get 15% a bit too much.
I see. So, question about Emalua. I know when I was reading the Emalua patch, one of my thoughts, not the first thought, but after a little bit of discussion, I was like, doesn't this kind of mess up Elecsat and the entire Fumyr style of everyone being stealth? So, how did you feel when Emalua got released and then buffed?
When she got released, I was, you know, I was face palming on Smilegates releasing more and more broken units and releasing more and more opponents that doesn't care about immunity, because that's pretty much all I'll do these days. But since our kit wasn't that good, I was hoping that people who wasn't going to pull her. But yeah, but when she got buffed, I was pretty much crying because you know it's unplayable. It's like a second Lilias. I already struggled to play against Lilias. Yeah, so against Lua it's even worse because she nears the air. I don't know. I don't know why they keep. Yes, I know it's because people that have speed need you know a free win button. It's you know Smilegate gives us a free unit and they can just pick put their speed on this unit and free win for free. Yeah, it's pretty tilting, but what can you do? You need to adapt to this and find ways to counter. But yeah, there isn't to counter against Lua in the style I'm playing. So I ended up either picking when I saw the start of the draft on most feelings they were going to pick Lua on 3. I started to just steal it on 2 and do my draft with Nahkwol Lua on 2. And if they weren't picking aggressively with Lua, I was just playing for either outspeed with Nahkwol or picking cleans like Laia or I don't know Celine.
Right.
But it's pretty telling.
Yeah, safe to say you were not very happy for sure.
Yeah, and, no, I had some more fun get, but yeah.
Gotcha. And I know that and that's one of the things that make you a really good player is, you know, you recognize that like this is a hard counter to my comp, and you know what can you really experiment with limited amount of time in the season left, and you kind of came to the conclusion you're just gonna have to pick it. But still, that's a great adaptation that you made towards the latter end of the season, because I think if you hadn't made that adaptation and everyone was putting their top speed on Lua, I mean, you would have had a really hard time on the last week, right? So that's a great adaptation that you made towards the end.
I had a really hard time last week. Yeah, it was pretty hard, and yeah, I spent one whole day trying to pick Lua, and it didn't work pretty. It worked pretty well, but it was extremely boring, and I was losing my mind to take 10-minute matches. So I started doing this draft just when I was feeling my opponent was gonna buzz Lua, and in the end it worked pretty well. But yeah, I lost a lot of air to this unit. So yeah, this is my second Fumyr. I picked a lot less, but yeah, it's nice to have a gear just in case.
Can we see the individual pieces to see how much effectiveness you really have to roll on these?
Yeah, sure. She actually has pretty bad gear, I found, but yeah, I can't roll more F on prot set, so.
Well, I mean, this is kind of one of the examples where, you know, people will think, oh man, the prot gear is just all F, like there's no HP, just trash it. But you know, if gear rolls well, you get 3 or 4 rolls in a specific substat. Like you should always look to see if you can keep it. You never know, you might want to play Masaratown just like Elecsat, so you never know.
Yeah, so you can always use protection set gear, I think, but yeah, I farmed a lot of months just for gearing, just for F Fumyr, and I wasn't really rewarded. And in the end, it didn't matter. But yeah, if the game doesn't want to give you pieces, you just do what you can. But it was a bit hard. When I realized I needed protected Fumyr was when ML Poly got released, and I had to farm prot set really fast, and didn't succeed at the end of the season. But no, I don't really need it, so it's okay.
So was all your prot gear mainly from like Rift, or did you have to do a lot of Golem hunt as well? Like what did you mainly do for the prot gear?
Right, at the time I just launched Golem run every day. But yeah, this day I just put prot gear on Rift and do my runs.
Gotcha.
But when I absolutely needed a prot set Fumyr, I just farm Golem every day.
I see.
So Christy is still gear because sometimes people are stealing G-Plug from me, and so she needs to be geared for this situation. And yeah, it worked in the some games where I had to pick her.
I see. So it's surprising to hear that people were stealing GP from you. That's crazy.
Yeah. Zio Cleaver are actually doing that a lot. Temel Cleaver too, because G-Plug is just destroying their comp, so they're trying other thing.
I see.
Like you know this Alot Cleaver Silva.
Oh, I love that guy. I love him.
Yeah, I like that one, but you know he see Nahkwol's first pick, he know it's me, and he's picking G program too, so I had to find an answer. And
I see.
Christy wasn't the answer I was picking on stream, but we'll get to it.
I see. And
so this is the second DDR, which is ER, so it's classic ER DDR. So Frida, she's geared because I sometimes need to pick a book that in years began, and she was my main answer to people picking Fumyr on 2 because I could just cleave them. So this run is actually one of my answers to people going Zio Preban, because I was picking run plus Iseria on 1-2. and they were assuming I was racing them. And he's tuned to play just before Briar, so I could S2 run, give attack buff to Briar, S3 dev break, and just cleave them with Briar.
I'm speechless. I see. At least it's not prod set.
I mean, if I went for set, I lost. I'm already picking a prod set on 3, so it doesn't need it. But yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah, Lua is still pretty good, so she needs to be gear. Bigger than she has Gala immunity. And same for ML Poly. I'm picking her a lot because she's not as prevalent as often as before. Veronica is still a good pick against BBK in some games. Yeah, same. Bidon needs to be gear for people that pick Spera because there are like 1 or 2 people picking Spera in the ladder. So this is my best Protec gear because I'm picking a lot of times, and he's been carrying like not only game where I into the trap, but also game when I feel like my opponent is going aggressive, and I'm picking like 4 Gally Knights and General Pugis and just wait for him to die.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good prod set. Could we see the individual pieces on this one?
Yeah.
50 HP, 43 HP. I see. Damn, that's really nice.
So Lilias was one of the counter to Hellion Lua I could pick, but yeah, she's pretty bad. She was pretty good when my opponent, when it looked like my opponent was going to ban Celine, like he was going Hellion Lua plus 2 imprints on 4/5, so I could live pick Lilias and ban his mitigation. Just let Lilias cut and kill the 2 imprint like Cidd or ML Silk.
I see.
I barely pick Abigail, but yeah, she's a green unit and she has some nice synergy with Fumyr, so she's pretty good geared.
So back to Abigail for just a quick second.
Well,
I know that
yes.
Abigail, among some of your guildmates, they do like playing Abigail. So in your opinion, ever since she's kind of been changed, what do you think about the F Abigail or like a DPS Abigail that a lot of people kind of don't really know which way to kind of go about building her? Which way do you think would kind of be the best?
Okay, I think the only Abigail you can build is a full tank Abigail with maybe 100 F. But yeah, she doesn't do her jobs if she doesn't survive, so I think she needs to be full tank. And mine is at that speed because most of the time I want her to play before Fumyr, but I think it would be better if she was base speed and full tank.
I see.
And the guildmate of mine that you were referring to is not playing the comp anymore because he used to last pick Gala every game, but yeah, you can't pick Gala currently.
I see. Yeah, it was very interesting fighting your guildmate. The odd times that I did, I was like, "This Abigail just take the turn before my entire team." I was like, "What's going on here?" So.
I'm really sad I couldn't pick this Ravi in the end of the season because yeah, at the start of the season, so the Masaratown clip is really not only my inversion. Like we're brainstorming a lot with my guildmate, and at the start of the season, and I was practically not playing the game. I was in vacation, so I was just logging in and doing my dailies. And my guildmate were still playing, and they were dying a lot to ML Luna on the rest of the meta. So they found that they could let Candy open, and that Ravi was one of their answers to Candy, because with Fumyr on 3 on the book, they could just burn with the Ravi S1 on one-shot the Candy. And it worked pretty well, but
Oh.
yeah, because of Mort, Candy became irrelevant. So
See, so this is before Mort got buffed, obviously. You
yeah,
guys had
and
to have an answer, right?
exactly, and it's
Oh.
still good to have a game because some people are still picking Candy
Uh-huh.
in this day and age. But yeah, I barely picked at the end of the season.
That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people were like, "Whoa, Tachi Ravi," but that makes sense for a very specific use case. I see.
Yeah, so ML Rona is classic ML Rona. If I had more prot set, I would have built a second Rona on prot set. But yeah.
And the
I
reason
don't
for
have enough
that would
prots.
just be to like buff stack for your Amalua,
Yeah,
or
exactly. Because
I see.
sometimes people are picking Ran on 3, and
Mhm.
their only bridge that could win against me is Rona.
Mm.
So I could have just picked Rona on 3 and Morgan Light on 4-5.
I see.
Yeah, but I did not have the opportunity to test it out.
I see.
Yeah, so same reason for this Solitaria. She's just here so I can buff stack and pick her on 3 against Piflan.
Oh,
I still had some opportunity when I could pick it.
interesting. Prot set Solitaria. I see.
Yeah. So I still pick this sometimes. Because people are also picking Zio plus Rowena when they don't have a second opener with extraction, so you need to go Politis plus Yufin on 4-5. So she still gears for this situation.
Oh, I see. And Adamant Shield for what's the specific reason for the Adamant Shield?
She's just here to survive, and I can't pick a third Proof of Valor.
So
this is the next best mitigation I found.
I see.
I think we're nearing the end. I'm just checking for, yes, this one.
Against Rankleave, I'm guessing?
What?
When do you pick this protection set candy?
This is my alternative to GP when GP is picked on the opponent team, and this is also the best protect set against people that are picking ML Poly into aggro. Because she put, one more buff, so my Galinax aren't really revealed. And also, yeah, I basically can't die against people that are cleaving me with Zio and picking GPOG.
Oh, you were probably farming Silva this season then, if you had this and G-Perk and Christy and everybody.
Yes, at some points, I played against him, he picked GP on 2, I pick this on 3, he pushed up his BBK, burned S3, and didn't kill my Nahkwol with crit. So I was like, I'm never losing another game to this.
Yeah, I mean, if you can tank that, yeah, that's a sure win.
Yeah, so I think that was pretty much it. That was the last unit I had geared.
Okay.
But that's still a lot of unit for the few the few games. Most of the time I'm picking these 4 units here. But yeah, the most unit you build for the specific situation, the higher you will actually be.
I see. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of units that you built for just kind of like very niche, like the 1 time or the 1 in 50, 1 in 100 games. But that just kind of goes to show to see that, once you go through, a loss 1 time and then you go to your heroes and you kind of build something to not lose to it a second time, right? So we can really see some of the creations that you have on the account, which is really, really cool to see. But I mean, we've been through the heroes now. I'm just gonna go through a little bit of a Q&A for you. I don't have this in French. It is all English. Okay.
Okay.
And so yeah, and if you guys have anything to ask Elecsat or his guild or anything, feel free to type it in the chat. But my first question to you is, what advice do you have for players who are trying to, find unique play styles and not play according to the meta like yourself? Maybe it doesn't have to be Fumyr on 3. Maybe it's, some other unit on 3 or some other unique style. What advice would you have for those players to try to, find their own style, right? Maybe they're missing units and stuff like that.
Yeah, honestly, the best advice you could give to players that want to innovate in RTI is to try to have fun, because if you want to, if your main goal is to win, you aren't going to be very innovative, I think. You want to try to find a few units you want to play with and just force them every game and try to find ways to make them work. Because if you just want to win, you're gonna play the same drafts as everyone else. So yeah, if you don't have the drive to find a new draft and try to make works to make weird unit works, it's gonna be difficult.
Right. I mean, having fun for sure. I agree, and I think one thing I do want to point out as well is, all the units that you've shown today and having Fumyr on prot set. I mean, this didn't come from day one, right? You guys had to, experiment. And I know you mentioned, your guildies and everyone putting in the time and the work. And I know in your Discord, you guys are always talking about how to solve this, how to solve that. How important was it to have, your guild and the community kind of working together to try to find solutions to, this kind of cleave or this kind of style?
Oh, well, I think I would have quit the game a long time ago if I didn't have, people to talk about the comp and just RTI in general. So yeah, it's been really good in that sense, and also sometimes sometimes I have ideas, or they have ideas that I can't test. I can't test because I don't have the gear, or I don't have the units, or they don't have the gear of the units. So it's easier if you can just ask someone to test this for you. So yeah.
I see. Is there any units that you want to see buffed or even nerfed? If they ever do decide to, if possible. Any units in mind?
I want buffed or nerfed?
Yeah, either or, buff or nerfed.
Well, nerfed maybe all the units that came out the last 3 years, but yeah, I don't think it's possible. That yeah, maybe buffed. I really want to be able to play Pavel again, but I don't think that's possible.
What do you think? How would you buff Emo Pavel? Remove the fighting spirit, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's a start, but I think he's just not up to this meta. Like he's just a character that does damage. All the meta is about tanking damage, so I don't think he is ever making a comeback.
Fair enough. What do you think about third pick ban protection?
I as a casual player, I don't really care about the competitive aspect of E7, because every tournament where I played, I'm just getting target banned, and I can't really play what I want. So I don't really care about this aspect, but I admit it must be pretty boring for people that want to have a lot of diversity and want to play Epic7 competitively with a big unit pool, etc. But for just a mindlessly spamming game, it's pretty good because you don't have to think a lot. And yeah, I know my Fumyr is gonna pass every game, and I have my book that is locked. But yeah, but I must say, before ban protection, it wasn't. I think it wasn't a problem. I used to be relatively okay with people being able to ban Fumyr, so I don't really mind. I think yeah, for casual player it's really good. Yeah, I understand the side from the competitive the competitive player of season.
Makes sense. And was there any like who are your hardest matchups this season? Was there anybody on the ladder where you're like, every time I face him, I just can't beat him, or was there anybody like that for you?
Alors, it was every people that were playing Zio was extremely tough and annoying to fight because I couldn't play Fumyr.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really boring, and I was starting the game it's a free lose. I'm gonna try to get a win out of this and to chase him.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I think it was honestly Elifton because he was just picking the five units and he was just out talking everything, and I couldn't pass it. So yeah, I think it was the most annoying to fight. And Ketchem was trying to draft a bit like him, but he had some small variation that make it so I could it was playable against Ketchem, but yeah, Edifton felt unplayable.
Mm. Yeah, I think a lot of people will say Lifton as well, so I don't blame you. So are there any units that maybe not just you, but your guild overall hate playing against the most when playing this cleave? I know you mentioned like getting Zeo cleaved or like just getting cleaved in general kind of sucks, but are there any notable units that you guys kind of hate especially?
So many Lilias and Lua because they completely disregard immunity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on a more special note, I hate people that are playing without are playing like Zio is pre-ban, but without pre-ban Zio. And I know some of one of my guildmates, Christophe, doesn't have Zio, and every time you see someone picking Run on 3, and he can't lock Zio on 3, and he's losing his mind every time. And yeah, I totally understand him, and yeah, I think those people shouldn't be allowed to play like that.
Well, I hope Christoph finally got Zero from Headhunt because that's incredibly frustrating for sure.
Yeah,
But
he didn't pick Zio from ML5, the ML5 selector, so it's a bit on him.
oh, you hate to see it. That sucks. Okay, I mean those are basically a lot of the questions that I had, and I've been trying to field the chat, see if there's any questions. Elifton wants to ask, what do you think about Melissa in your comp? Is there any way that you can incorporate her in your drafts?
So actually, I really like Melissa because when I started cleaving in RTA, I was first picking Melissa every game, and it was extremely fun. But yeah, in this meta currently, she just doesn't do enough because yeah, most of my DPS need to play before Fumyr, and at this speed, Melissa isn't killing anything.
Mm.
At some point, I built Melissa when she got buffed. I built Melissa with like 5k attack and 300 crit damage with what's his name? The artifact, the Fire Kawak artifact. This one. She still has it, and so she had like 5k 330 crit damage approximately. She couldn't even one shot a Dilibet with two shot a Dilibet with S3 and S2. So at this point, I decided that I wasn't gonna touch this unit ever again.
I see. Yeah, put her away for good. Okay, I mean, those are all the questions that I had. I will give you the floor to, if there's anybody you want to thank or anything you want to say for the viewers that are watching this video, take it away.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks to the whole Masaratown guild for bearing with my my antics for 4 years, and yeah, especially to Christophe and Obezo that helped me a lot with this Fumyr comp. And yeah, and thanks to everyone that are supporting me when I'm playing. And yeah. Also, so Cookie was helping me a lot this year with the World Cup because he teach me a lot to try to win against him, but I didn't live up to his expectations. So yeah, thanks to him, and I'm sorry for that.
Splendid. Well, I mean, I just want to say once again, thank you very much for doing the account review and showing the world what Masaratown means. And I look forward to playing against you next season. Hopefully, you'll still be playing. I don't want to see you go. It's very nice and refreshing. Even if I get beat down quite a few times by you in a season, it's always nice to see the Fumyr on 3 and kind of run those back. So I look forward to next season, and best of luck to you. And once again, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you again for this opportunity.
It is my pleasure. Okay, well that's going to conclude it. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll let you. I won't hold you hostage any longer. So have a good evening because it's nighttime over there.
Yeah, good evening to you.